support. In doing so, the business owners, they do have to submit applications. And along with the application, there are a lot of questions which are tax related. For example, the entity structure, the tax returns, the payroll numbers, etc., the sales numbers. They are, most of the data, they are really, tax and accounting related. So the small business owners, sometimes they don't have the resource or enough knowledge to submit all this information to the government. If they don't submit a complete application, then the government, they cannot approve the application, and they'll lose the opportunity for funding. So that's why I feel like I really had a opportunity to help out these business owners, and they are very appreciative of our efforts. Although we put in a lot of time in those period, especially during the month of April and May of 2020, we have to work overtime. We have to explain to our clients, what need to be done, and sometimes it become a little bit overwhelmed. But overall, it is a very fulfilling, experience. I feel like that, I'm actually helping out a lot of clients who needed, our services the most. So that is something that, I feel very proud of. And, this is, this, if you work in this industry, then you can, feel the importance of your role, in this community. Okay, so next, what is your work environment like? Well, it is very professional. Professional, I don't mean like, you're dressing professional, etc. But, it is, it is professional in a sense that your work is highly respected. For example, just for that, back to that pandemic example of helping business owners to apply for assistance and all these government fundings. So those are the things that is really, helpful for to the business owners, to the recipients. So, they'll be really thankful of the work that you do for them. And, you do it in a very orderly fashion, professional way. So, so everything should be done in a very orderly fashion. And that's how I would say that, the work environment is very professional, and it is very orderly. So I'm just going over these questions that I think Sean has emailed me, some of the frequently asked questions. So I'm just using that as a guideline for this presentation. Okay, so what advice would you give someone if they wanted to pursue this career? I would say the most important thing that need to be aware of is, be patient and sharpen your skills, because what we are providing is, in a sense, is knowledge. Because there's a lot of tax codes, tax laws, accounting rules, standards, all these rules and regulations that we need to understand, and also need to be able to apply to the client situation. So, before we can do that, first of all, we have to sharpen our skills. We have to know all this knowledge before we can help other people. And also we need to be patient, because, sometimes the clients, they are not really, knowledge in this field. That's why they come to us, for professional help. So we need to be really patient in communicating with the clients, and really, spend a lot of time listening to their concerns. and understand the backgrounds. And that's what I mean by, being patient. And the second thing is, this is a people business. By that, I mean that, every single day, it's not like, we're just looking at the computer and dealing with the computer software and cranking out tax forms. That's not what we do. So basically, we spend a lot of time communicating with people and talking to clients. Either it's the clients or, the IRS people or the government personnel or the staff. So we also always have to communicate with different, different people from, different departments. So having the people skill is also very important. Okay, so, the next question is, why did you choose this career path? Well, the reason why I choose this career path, when I was in high school, I, really, when I was in freshman, junior, sophomore year, I really don't know what I want to do. Yeah, so, and then, when it came to the senior year, I think I took a college course, summer course at the CCP, and the class is accounting. So I did really well in the class. And I realized that accounting is really the language of a business. What that means is that, business has a lot of economic information. So accounting is the medium to communicate this economic information to the stakeholder. For example, if you're running a business, who wants to know the financial statement of the business, definitely, the owner would like to know. And if you go to a bank to borrow a loan, then, the bankers, they definitely want to know the inside out of a business. And one way that, they really will look at is the financial history, financial statements, profit and loss statement, and the balance sheet. And they're going to analyze it, before they make a decision whether or not they're going to give you a loan. And also something like, okay, if you want to expand your business and you want more funding, you want to get capital, maybe get the capital from, investors. Definitely the investor want to look at your financial statements to see how well your business is doing financially. So those, is very important. And every single business require a good accounting system. Okay, the next thing is filing your taxes is required by law. So it's very interesting to know that, not paying your tax is not like, criminal offense. So you won't go to jail by not paying your tax, but not filing your tax is a criminal offense. So you can go to jail by not filing your tax. So filing your tax is really, is required by law. So everybody needs to file taxes, and, all the business need to do accounting. So that's why I say, well, this is like supply and demand. This is a strong demand for this two area. So that is really translate to job security. If I choose this career path, definitely, I will have a very stable career throughout my life. So, I think I've made the right decision because for the last 20 years, I really didn't stop working. It just, the work never stops. So, and I have no problem looking for work. So I think that is the main reason why I choose this career path. Okay, next is, have you ever regret choosing this path? Well, I think answering this question, I think first I want to go into managing my thoughts and feelings. Because, if you regret doing something, that means you're looking backward and say, well, you should have done this, or you could have done this, or, you would have done that. So normally I would try to stop myself asking all these questions to myself. So what I do is I focus on the present, and I set my goal, a really high goal that, I need to pursue, and try not to like look back. And that's why, I really didn't think about like regretting anything, because I always try to focus on my current task and, the process, make sure that, the work get done today, and just, remain sharp focus in my goal, pursuing my goal. So, so that's what I do. And it works out pretty well. And it saved me a lot of time and energy, and keep me in focus. Okay, so the next one is, what is work like every single day? So just like today, basically what I do is I spend 1/3 of my time doing client communication, 1/3 of my time doing staff meeting, and 1/3 of my time doing research on the new tax laws. So client communication, as I said before, is very important. I need to really spend time talking to my clients, make sure, to understand their needs and what they want to do, what they want to accomplish. And also I need to get information from them, get to know them, understand their background, in order to help them to, do the accounting and taxes. So that's why, a lot of time is, time consuming. So I have to spend 1/3 of my day talking to my clients. And then 1/3 is staff meeting. So once I, have a client meeting with my staff, and then I have to talk to my staff to really plan out the project and the steps to complete the project. So that is what I do. Well, because right now I'm the manager of my CPA firm, so I have to manage the work. So when I first starting out, I'm a staff member. So basically what I do is, my manager assigned the work to me, and I have to do the work, and my manager will supervise my work. So now, because, I have experience now, so I can, basically assign the work to my staff and manage the work and make sure that the work gets done. And also if the staff is having any question, I'll be able to answer them. Okay, so the remaining 1/3 of the time, I will spend my time doing research, the new tax laws. As you know, in 2020 and 2021, these 2 years, because of the pandemic, the government, having a lot of new tax laws. And, they make one new tax law, and then after they make one, they will make changes to the law that they make. Very frequently, in a few months, they will make the change. In a few months, they will make the change. So it is somehow it's a challenge to basically keep up with all the new tax laws. And frankly, some of them, they are very confusing because they don't really tell you, a lot of details. It's not like a very clear instructions of, you do step 1 and 2 and 3. It's not like that. So we need to do a lot of research. That's very important because knowledge is power. We're knowledge service business. So definitely 1/3 of my time definitely is going to spend on researching new tax law. And try to understanding all this new tax law and apply this to the benefit of my clients. So that's that. Okay, let's go to the next one. The next one, the next question is what work experience have you gained that has helped you with this job? Okay, so I have these two right here: training new staff and client presentation. Okay, so why do I say that? Because if you have done this before, you already know. Training another person, you need to know a lot of details. So first, training one person may take 1 hour, but in order to prepare the information or to prepare the materials and to gain the knowledge, it might take 10 hours. So that's why this training the new staff really helped me to gain knowledge. So that is my experience. One experience that really helped me with my job. And also client presentation is the same thing, basically training new staff. Also, I need to share my knowledge with my clients. So that you really goes hand in hand, very parallel to each other. Before I, present to client, it might only take me 1 hour to present it to client, but it might take me 10 hours to really study all these tax laws and to apply those tax law to that situation. So, all this process, all these steps, all these things I have to do really kind of like, make me to understand the tax law a lot better. And also during this process, I do get a lot of questions from the staff and the client that I would have never thought of. So that, make me to do more research to, bring answer to your questions. I think, all this, cycle, all this circle going around that I'm studying all this new tax law, preparing presentation, and get the feedback from the client and do more research, helping me to, grow my knowledge base. And that's very helpful. I think, I think all this, experience of all this work experience, I gained the most from these two, from these two events right here. Okay, the next question is, what part of the job would you find to be the hardest? I think dealing with your own expectation is the hardest. Sometimes you want to advance, sometimes you want to, set the goal really high, but it just takes time. Sometimes you want to basically help a client. For example, let's say a client come to me with a tax dispute, and then the client expectation is, okay, well, you can save X amount of dollar, but the resulting come to the number close to that. So sometimes it is not the result that you're looking for. So you must say, okay, look, you have done what you can, but sometimes out of your control. Then yeah. So my point is that dealing your own expectation. Sometimes you have really project that have a very good result, and sometimes you have a project which is below your expectation. But what you gotta do is just basically learn from that experience and just take that as a lesson, and then move forward and try to do better next time. I think that I always have to keep that in mind. Just like when I was in school, I took a test exam, and I didn't get an A, I get a C or something. Then I just have to just continue and just don't give up, and try to be better and work smarter next time. I may get a B or A in the next class. So basically, just keep going and just basically don't let the setback to put you down. So that's my advice over there. Okay, next is, what has this work experience taught you? Well, it is a long journey, definitely. It's not like a one-shot deal. It's not like a project. Okay, it's either, you know, you succeed or not succeeding. I think I think that the saying goes like that, you know, it's just success is is basically what you do every single day. So it's not like an end goal. It's just, you know, it's basically is your habit. So basically, I always have that in mind. So it's a long journey. You know, someday, you know, you do really well, and someday, you know, one client project will fail. But you know, you just have to keep going. So that is my that's my philosophy right there. Okay, so the next question is, what do you find most satisfying about this job? I think it's, you know, work-life balance, definitely. That's wonderful because it is a seasonal business. It's very different from a lot of other businesses, like, you know, what you would call it, like, you know, uh, for example, well, let's talk about my own business here, right here. Work-life balance, because it's a seasonal business. We do tax return. Um, so as you know, the tax due date is April 15th. Uh, you know, for all the U.S. taxpayers. So everybody has the same due date, and we don't start the tax season until pretty much the first week of February. So we work in February, March, and then April 15th comes. So you add up all the weeks, it's like 10 weeks. So you're really working really, you know, very, very busy in 10 weeks out of 52 weeks. So this is how seasonal it is. So basically 80% of the work happened in 10 weeks. So a lot of people really, you know, ask, okay, what do you do for the remaining, like, you know, 42 weeks? So basically in 42 weeks, we are really working very few hours, to tell you the truth, maybe like 20 hours a week. So I think that's the most satisfying. I have, like, you know, colleague, the CPA, they work 10 weeks in, you know, in the city and then spend the remaining 42 weeks traveling. So, and also right now, a lot of people are working from home right now, like our firm. We do things virtually since March of 2020. So everybody, you know, very get used to working from home. And you know, after pandemic, probably, you know, we're going to continue with that work arrangement. So that's even better because it's flexible hour, and we don't have to commute back and forth. And yep, so a lot of flexibility. And also, you know, I talk to my staff, and they all say that, you know, work-life balance in this job is really awesome. You can't really compare that to any other job out there. Yep. So yeah, so that's that. You know, if you want to have a seasonal business, seasonal work, and, you know, want to take a lot of time during the summer off, doing some other things, you can, you know, have a side business, have a second job, or you want to study something else. Definitely, you know, this is worth your consideration. Oh, let me go back to a bit about something. I forget where it was, but, you know, one experience I had with a lot of people is that, you know, I spent, you know, what I graduated school like in 1992, right? Well, actually 1996, I graduated from college. So a lot of people, you know, after you graduate from school, they kind of like, stop learning. If you think about it, I spent my first 21st year, the 21 year in school. Every single day, I would just go to class, study. And my full-time job is a student. And what I do is learning new things every single day. And then, toward the end, I was like, become really tired. It's like, oh my God, I just really want to go to work. And, I'm being like, kind of want to experience working life, but not just in school, studying all the time. I feel like that is not really productive. So after I graduated, then, okay, I just, work every single day. And, and then I realized, okay, one mistake that a lot of people make is after they graduate, they stop learning. They stop doing the school thing. And that's a big mistake, because I think learning is a continuous thing throughout life. You just have to keep learning new things every single day, every single week, every single month. I think that's very important, taking new classes, online classes, whatever that you can gain. You need to really spend time learning new stuff. That's why, 1/3 of my time right now spent on researching new tax law. If I have free time, I'll learn new stuff like, technology and stuff like that, something which is of interest to me. I think learning is a lifelong journey, lifelong experience. So that is one thing that I always keep in mind. Okay, so let me see. Lastly, would you encourage someone to pursue this career? Yeah, it is a very respectful profession. If you get into this profession, 99% of the time, people will appreciate what you do. They really, be respectful of, your work. And yeah, so it's very, very nice. I feel that, I'm very fortunate to be in this profession. And, I have very good relationship with my staff and my clients. They are very appreciative. We have a very healthy, friendly working relationship and, friendly work environment. So yeah, it's very enjoyable. Especially, seasonal business. The nature of business is basically a few months of the year, which is very busy, and then the rest of the year just working. Feel like that you're working part-time. So I think that's a plus there. Yep. So yeah, so so that'll be all of my experience and insight. Hopefully that my my information will help you to make your career choice. So yeah, that's it. So thank you for listening. So back to you, Kevin.
Okay. Thank you, Martin, for sharing your experiences and the journey that you have went through accounting. I guess I I just had some questions. And feel free again, everybody, if you have questions, please either unmute yourself or just write them in the chat. But I was just wondering, since you pursued accounting in college, and it has been some time since then, through your work experience, is there career flexibility for going to accounting in cases where maybe someone might not uh, um, uh, go your path? Or is there ways to do other things while also holding that accounting experience, if that makes sense?
Oh, you mean that the accounting? I'm sorry. Can you?
Yeah, like career flexibility. Like, is there, in the case that accounting might not be fit for that individual, what could they be doing, or
Oh,
what
okay.
Yeah.
All right. Okay. Sorry about that. The phone is like breaking up.
Yeah, yeah,
So
yeah.
the accounting, yeah. So I mean, tax accounting, it's just one aspect of the accounting career. I mean, the accounting field. Actually, it's very broad field. Um, Accounting, as I said, is the language of business. So basically, it applies to you know any business in general. So I think accounting. If you go to business school, you have to take accounting 101 and 102 anyway. So it's just so fundamental. So if you get into accounting, just basically any type of business in general, you'll be you receive the benefit. If I make an example, like some of my friends, they either go into banking, right? They become a banker. They might become, let's say, investment banker. Uh, that is very popular. And sometimes they will go to private industry, like become a CFO of a corporation. They might become an auditor. Um, yeah, so that's I just cannot count like how many opportunities are there. Just basically because it's just so broad. Yeah.
Yeah, that's good to know. I mean, of how broad or the options available if you are going to pursue the accounting field.
Hmm.
I guess the other question is, in terms of tax services, I know you manage your own firm. Are there differences in if you manage it yourself versus if you work for somebody else, a larger firm? Are there differences in how that work plays out?
Right. Yeah, that's a very good question. So my experience that okay, so I think there's two parts. The first part is that if I'm having my own firm managing a staff versus working for myself, is that I mean is versus I'm working for someone else, is that right now I need to manage the work and also manage my staff. So yeah, that by itself is very different job from working for someone else. Because working for someone else, I'm kind of like being managed by my manager, um, and yeah, so the dynamic of the work is a lot different. So I think my experience that being managed or managing other people, because the job description is so different. The fire truck is coming through. Okay, I hope that you can hear me. um yeah, so the skill set is very much different. Yeah, so that's that. The skill set, just one is you have to manage people, and the other one is that you have to make sure that the job get done correctly. um so yeah, so the two job is very very much different. So okay, the second part is that okay, working for a bigger firm. Working for a bigger firm, let's say if I work for a CPA firm with 100 CPA, what's the difference? The difference, like that a lot of decision making in the higher level, we have to go through a process of voting. Okay, we have to vote on whether or not uh, we should take step one or step two or step three. So a lot of process need to be decided by a group of people. Versus right now, I have my own practice. Decision making is pretty simple. I just have to talk to my staff, get the feeling, and then I'll make the decision. So it's a much quicker process. Yes.
Okay, that's really interesting how the differences are there in terms of working, uh, managing your own firm versus if you were being managed by a larger firm.
Hmm.
Um, so one of our students had a question in the chat. So I'm just going to read it. Of his question. He says that since this is a more seasonal type of job, does the average person in this field earn enough to do what you want in the other time they have? So he gave an example like some teachers, how during the summertime for that teacher, they might have to find a second job because during the summer there's no they're not working versus if they're in school during the school year. For this job, the seasonal job for tax services, is it similar? And then there's a second part, more off that you say that in the other 40 weeks or so, where you work like 20 hours of work. What do you do then during those times when it's not tax season? Um, so that's the main
Okay.
question.
Okay. So the first part is the seasonal work. So do they get a second job? Some of them they do. Some of them they just relax and spend more time with the family. So that's what we do. Yeah. So yeah, because of the seasonality, the nature of the job is just the workload is not there. Especially during the summertime, nobody wants to talk about taxes during the season. During the during the summertime. If you call the client and say, don't call me at this time because I'm busy. So, but during the tax season, everybody want to talk to the tax accountant, and our phone is like ringing off the hook. So, yep, that's definitely seasonal. So during the time we're just not that busy, we just have to find. Well, what I do is I try to have hobbies. Maybe I join a sport team. I spend more time with my family, do some traveling. That's what I do. Do something I feel enjoyable. So that's really nice work-life balance because during the tax season from from the end of January to April 15th, it's really cold, and it's good to be in the office, getting the work done. Yeah, so the staff, they just do what they feel like doing, either getting a second job or some of them, take a class, summer class, online class. Yeah, they just feel like doing whatever that they want to spend the time, doing meaningful work. Mm-hmm.
Okay. So one of the students wanted to, I guess, make a clarification on the question more specifically, like,
Yes.
is the average person in the field earn enough during tax season to relax in the other times?
Oh, okay, I see. Do they earn enough money? Well, let
Yeah.
me see. Well, it really depends because well, in my firm they definitely do. Yeah, they earn enough money to for the whole year. Because we are licensed professional, so we you know um our salary is enough to support our family. So, but some other tax firm, they just maybe they just work part time during the tax season. For that, I don't think so. Yep. So all the CPA firm or the tax service franchise, they structure their pay scale differently, and some of them they just want to have a part-time job during the tax season. I don't think that will be enough for them to support their lifestyle throughout the year. But in our firm, yes, we can do that. and I think most of the CPA firm they do the same too. They have that like seasonality, and basically most of people they work like really hard during the tax season, and during the tax season after the tax season it doesn't work as much, and they don't need to have a second job in order to support their family.
Okay, that's good to know. Very good to know. That it's kind of like in terms of the job, as you mentioned, seasonality, it's built into the salary that they get.
Correct.
Throughout the whole year.
Yes.
Okay. So if there's no more other questions, let's see. Okay, another question. Very nice. I'm just gonna read it all. As a 17-year-old turning 18 who will have to deal with taxes sooner or later, is there any advice you would give that you think is important or wish you knew earlier, especially for those that are young adults, teenagers, who are very new to taxes and things like these things?
Okay, I see. Well, I can just talk about my own experience now. When I was 17, 18-year-old, I work in a fast food restaurant. And I just get a W-2 form. So my tax is very easy. So basically I just do it using TurboTax because I only have one W-2 form and get my tax refund, and that's it. I think, just keep it very simple. I think a lot of simple tax return, if you only have a W-2 form, you just, go to TurboTax online and just get it filed. Yeah, this is my advice. The people really need to get like professional help is when they get like more complicated tax return. Like, for example, if they have a business, then definitely they need to seek out to a CPA. Or they work or live in many different states. Then because of different states jurisdiction, then they need to get the CPA help because it get complicated. Maybe buy or sell stocks, that might need some help. Rental property, that might need some help. Other than that, if people just have one W-2, two W-2s, work and live in Philly, just go ahead, go to TurboTax and get it done online. That's what I would do.
Okay, that's good advice. For I guess for a lot of people who just maybe have simple tax returns.
Yes.
Okay. And if you still have any questions, if any of you still have questions, you can still put it in the chat. But I think it's time we can wrap this up in terms of this career workshop. And again, thank you to Martin Chan for expressing and telling us his experiences through college, through work, and what it's like to work as a work in tax services. But if you still have any questions about the PCDC Teen Club program or about Martin Chan's tax services, anything else, you can reach out to him through his email, right? Is that the email?
Yes.
And through his email, you can ask him about any questions. It could be tax-related questions. It could be other things or anything about that. And I'm just going to put that in the chat here. That way, you all should have that. And I think that's it in terms of the workshop. So right now, we're just going to move down to study hall. But thank you again, Martin Chan, for joining us and sharing your experiences.
Thank you, Kevin. Thank you, everybody.
Thank you.
All right, bye.
Bye-bye. So right now we're just going to go into study hall. So nothing special. You guys can still stay, but you guys already